It wasn't so long ago. If you thought about what a television is, you'd have pictured a cathode ray tube reproducing images in monochrome on just 3 channels. A television was, quite simply, a tuner, screen and speakers. Its sole function was to play back decoded analogue broadcast signals. It would have looked something like this: a 4:3 proportions screen with a long back to accommodate the large cathode ray tube. Today, some 50 years later, the CRT has since been superseded by the liquid crystal display, or LCD, then the plasma display, a gas-filled tube, followed by the current technology, the light-emitting diode, or LED. As each of these technologies developed, we also saw an increase in detail, colour and quality, from 625 horizontal lines in the interlaced analogue format to what is now the current standard, progressive scanning in digital format using 1080 by 1920 pixels, giving a 16:9 aspect ratio. Today, we are seeing what is being called smart TV, part computer, part television, allowing the viewer to interact with the available data and see broadcast content as well as streamed. But what is smart TV exactly, and how smart is it likely to get in the future? We asked our roving reporter, Andy Whitfield, to investigate.
Well, here we are at Curry's PC World today, where the manager's kindly allowed us to go in and have a look at the latest OLED 4K UHD series. When we think of smart TV, we think of it being able to connect to any source, be that broadcast or web-based, so we can curate our own content. We can choose what we want to watch, when we want to watch it, and on what device. We can also browse social network sites, make Skype video calls, and purchase goods and services online. Televisions are no longer simply a means of passively viewing a program. The current smart TVs have the same processing power of a computer and all the abilities, except with the benefit of an enormous screen. We've come to expect a smart TV to be an extension of our phones and tablets, able to access the same software applications and a variety of other content, with a smooth transition from one device to another or from one platform to another. Being able to begin watching a film, for example, on a smartphone in a train on the way home from work, then seamlessly making the transition, continuing to watch on a TV when arriving at home, is typical of smart TV capabilities. Apps like Netflix can already do this, so we would expect features like these to become commonplace as the technology adapts to the way that we engage with content. So, how do we view content, and what operating systems are there? And is one better than another? In the UK, we are already familiar with the Android TV operating system, used by Tier 1 manufacturers like Sony and Sharp, or the Google TV app, used by Netgear and again, Sony amongst others. These have been available on smartphones for some time. LG, however, use WebOS 2, which is extremely fast and visually dynamic, a great improvement over older smart TVs, which were rather slow. This is the latest 4K ultra-high definition OLED TV from LG, which was released in Europe earlier this year. The O in OLED stands for organic, referring to the hydrocarbon chains used in its manufacture. The light-emitting diode used in earlier LED sets is quickly becoming redundant, as these new displays use a series of light-emitting films, giving a far brighter light for far less power. With no requirement to provide a backlight to illuminate a diode, the levels of black obtainable are far deeper and enable 10-bit colour palettes to be achieved, with more detail in the lowlights and greater crispness in the highlights. This gives a far wider range of colour combinations than we've seen before, and is closer to what the human eye can perceive. The OLED display also boasts a 45-degree viewing angle with no loss of quality or brightness. This model features a curved screen for a more immersive experience, which really works if one person is viewing and sits close to the sweet spot, as it allows for a greater perception of depth. But in practice, if there are more than a few people watching, there is a limit to where you need to sit to be able to benefit from the effect. It's worth noting as well that LG make this model as a flat panel, should you prefer. But how smart is smart? And what features can we expect to see on the next generation of smart TVs? Advertisers can already target advertising directly at us. They know what we click on and have access to our browsing preferences and histories to tailor their products directly to our addresses. But what if the next generation of smart TVs could do that for us? Dan Schuss from Resource Interactive suggests that the term smart TV may actually be a misnomer, Predictive TV may be a more appropriate term for where the technology is actually leading us. A truly smart TV could be able to monitor our preferences in exactly the same way that advertisers do and make intelligent decisions for us, downloading content as it becomes available and storing it for when we want to view it. That idea may not be a case of if, but when. And when that does happen, we'll have a range of displays such as OLED like this, which are not only incredible to watch, but also jam-packed with features which make the whole experience more immersive than ever before. That may happen sooner than you think. Johnny, over to you in the studio.
Thanks, Andy. And now, over to Jeremy Clarkson with the latest in jetpacks.